Have you learned anything new about yourself?
Yeah, I have learned that it takes 2 years to get from Monday to Friday. That's at least what it feels like. I just think that I didn't know every day could last so long.
It really is amazing that we've gotten to the place where we actually miss traffic a little bit. I know one of the biggest areas you and I have both been passionate about is helping kids to connect with their teachers, helping learners to get the materials they need, helping schools to connect with their pupils. I'm assuming you have something for me today because this is probably one of the biggest crises that is hitting kids right now, and that is access to learning.
I actually do, Trevor. I think you can only meet a crisis with what you have in place the day it arrives. And I think we at Microsoft feel extraordinarily fortunate to have forged a partnership 2 years ago with the 4-H. And so Jennifer Sarangelo, who heads the 4-H, is with us today. And the work they are doing in rural communities across the country is just extraordinary. So, Trevor, let me introduce you to Jennifer.
Hi, Brad. Hi, Trevor.
Welcome to our virtual community. Good to have you here. I'm just going to jump straight into it. I've heard amazing things about your organization. People are trying to figure out how to get education to children who still definitely need it. And there are two groups of those kids who have access to the internet and then kids who don't. So tell us a little bit about what the 4-H is doing in connecting kids who are connected, and then we'll talk a little bit afterwards about those who don't have the necessary broadband.
Sure. Well, to start, 4-H has been around for 100 years. As Brad said, you have to go with what you've got in a situation like this. And fortunately, we're in every county in America and we're not inside four walls. So 4-H is up and running. We're a educational organization run by Cooperative Extension, and we have 3,500 professionals, 500,000 volunteers, and they have quickly pivoted to a virtual environment to support young people that have access to broadband or computers or digital data in some ways. Fun things like a virtual science cafe for teenagers where they can meet a scientist and ask questions. We have a virtual 4-H space camp, so you can sign up and go to space camp online this summer. So all of these are available for any kid and parent. They don't have to be in 4-H to be able to access this really hands-on learning and skill development.
Now, Brad, I know you've been a big fan of getting kids access to learning. Microsoft as an organization has been a huge driver in connecting these kids. What are the tools and resources you enjoy seeing them use in connecting with each other?
Well, I think, for us, you almost have to think about the kids in 4-H and put them into two groups. As Jennifer has been, sharing with us, there are 55 million American kids who are not in school. Most of them have access to the internet. 7 million do not. One of the things we're learning here, and this is where I think 4-H is so critical, is we can't reach every family the same way. There is a real digital divide.
Yeah, Jennifer, tell us a little bit about that. What have you been doing and how are you connecting these kids with learning opportunities?
This isolation period and quarantine has made the digital divide even greater. So I'm really proud of how our local folks have stepped up. It's really about what they're doing in Cooperative Extension and 4-H at the local level. We kind of go to the last mile in those communities. So we have a lot of different examples where 4-H is putting 4-H curriculum kits and supplies on the school buses on the rural routes that are taking lunch and breakfast, and they're taking 4-H activities physically with them. There's a lot of ingenuity going on, and I'm thankful that we have the opportunity, even when there isn't broadband, to continue young people's social emotional learning and staying connected to each other, but also their skill development.
What should we be thinking about doing to help you even more?
First, for families and kids, we hope they'll go to 4-H.org and find our 4-H at home activities. And we also hope folks will consider helping us make more of these activities available through the Forward Fund. And that's our response to COVID-19 and to empowering our local communities. It's a fun place to go. I hope if you have, any of you have kids or grandkids, I hope they'll go online and see if there's any of the activities that look fun to them.
Well,
Well,
I
thanks,
don't have
Jennifer.
kids, but I've always wanted to go to space camp, so
This might
I'm
be
going to try
your
sneak
chance.
into the program.
Texas 4-H virtual space camp. This might be your chance to be an astronaut, a virtual astronaut.